Welcome back to Foos Entertainment for my next review. And unfortunately, this one will not be in 4K. Because they make you wait so long for the 4Ks of these Scream films. So the very last Scream film that does not have a 4K release will probably get it in 2024. And obviously leads on to what we're reviewing. Welcome to my review of 2011's Scream 4. Now, for the longest time, I had nothing but complete hate for this movie. I will still say that out of the 6 films, Scream 4 is probably the weakest one of all 6 films. But do I still hate the movie? No. I used to, but after my current, rewatch of the film for this event, in no way, shape, and form can I say I hate this movie. This movie is definitely good. I actually like this movie now. Now, does this kind of follow into the first 3 films? Well, yes and no, but something was going on around 2011 is we were starting to have what's known as these requels, and that's kind of what they talk about a little bit in this. Alright, and let's read the back synopsis of the film, shall we? Directed by suspense master and director of the first trilogy, Wes Craven, Scream 4 is the newest installment in the acclaimed franchise that ushered in a new wave of horror in the 1990s. In Scream 4, Sidney Prescott, Neve Campbell, now the author of a self-help book, returns home to Woodsboro on the last stop of her book tour. There she reconnects with Sheriff Dewey, David Arquette, and Gail Courtney Cox, who are now married, as well as her cousin Jill, played by Emma Roberts. Unfortunately, Sydney's appearance also brings about the return of Ghostface, putting Sydney, Gail, and Dewey, along with Jill and her friends, in the whole town of Woodsboro in danger. Okay, sounds good. Alright. First off, they call it a requel. I'll tell you what it really is. It's called a reboot. Now, what's very funny is the next film in the franchise kind of deals with reboots. So we'll just call it a requel, just for the sake that requels and reboots are not the same thing. But at the same time, I would say this is more of like a what's called a revival. So I guess in this film they call it a requel, but it's actually the proper terminology is a revival. Now I'll explain what a revival is. Okay, a revival is not a reboot. Reboot and a remake and a revival are very, very different. A requel or revival, let's call it a requel. Interesting word. I might have to start using requel because it sounds interesting. Now I'm going to do it by explaining something that's very actually I'm not going to bring a box to this. I'm just going to explain it. A requel. A good example of a requel would be this. You have the 20 James Bond movies that sprung from 1962 to 2003, which had the following actors playing James Bond in a career that takes place over the course of about 15 years, which would be obviously Sean Connery, George Lazenby, Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton, Pierce Brosnan. Okay. We have had 5 James Bond films since, but they're not connected. They're a requel. Requel is basically what the Daniel Craig films are. They are a requel. They're not related in any way, shape, or form to the 28 films that came before them. And in fact, they're kind of retelling the story that those 20 films before them told, but in a different context. They've already changed a few things. That is basically a requel. And that's basically what the fourth Scream film is playing at. Is, your whodunit murder mystery, slasher that deals with a requel. Now, the twist in this movie is really crazy. As a matter of fact, in this one, this is where it gets really fun. You see, in the first film, although if you've never seen the first film, you can kind of guess who the killers are before they are revealed. In the second film, one of them, yeah. And then you have some other character that you wrote off and didn't think anything about turning out to be the main villain. In the third one, again, a unexpected character that you didn't really know that much about turns out to be the villain. And on top of that, there's a twist, a big twist on top of him, of that main character becoming the villain by the end of the film. That this changes the whole freaking thing. The whole story of the first two films gets completely changed because of what he reveals about why he's doing what he did in the third film. Then you get to the fourth film. What the fourth film does so well is one of our main characters that you in this entire time believe is a protagonist throughout the entire movie. I can help you out with putting your mind at ease. Is not Sidney Prescott. She's not the villain in any of these movies. But you could not tell. There were no clues. There was zilch. There was absolutely nothing that was revealing at all about who eventually become our killers in the film. Because there's two. There's two in this one. And in fact, there's two in all of these except for Scream 3. Scream 3 is the only one that, you had one killer instead of two. All the other ones, you have two killers. There's two killers in this one, but they're so unexpected. Well, one of them is. Now the male killer in this movie, you could kind of tell that he was a killer. But our main killer, you couldn't see coming from a mile away. It was so well executed. And it was a very delightful twist that no one never saw coming. I think what kind of made me not like this movie is the motivation for the main killer in the film. I thought it was, kind of childish. But after watching it recently, it kind of has set better with me now. And that's why I had no problem saying I actually like this movie now. Is it still the weakest one of the Scream films? Yes. But I do like it now. Alright, now let's go on to the quality of the film. This is a regular Blu-ray, so this full high definition. Which is okay because 4K didn't exist at the time. In fact, the last three films, those were all completely brand new restorations, completely different from their original sources. Have kind of back to the cutting room floor, been completely redone over to make them look as good and sound as good as they do now. This one just hasn't had the process yet, but this one will be a lot easier to get to that 4K process than the first three, because Blu-ray existed at the time. When the first three Scream films came out, Blu-ray didn't exist. So it's going to be a lot easier to make this one into a 4K release and remaster it and stuff. Alright, well, quality is not bad, but it does have one issue with me. It tends to have like this televised look to the cinematography of the film, but that could just simply be because this was the first one to be in in full high definition. And that might be a lot to do with it. But the picture quality is not bad at all. It's not on league with the last three, but it's definitely not bad at all by any means. The picture quality is pretty good. And there's definitely some good bright sequences in the film. There are some good dark sequences as well. The audio quality. This one also contains a 5.1 DTS HD MA master audio sound sound presentation. I could definitely say this one is a lot more effect heavy than the last three. So yeah, because we're in the full high definition world now when it comes to the making of this movie, the sound design is different too. So you're going to have a lot more going on when it comes to the sound. So this is going to be a better sound presentation than the first three, for sure. It definitely was. Wonderful movie. Still the weakest Scream film, but wonderful, wonderful watch. I could definitely say you will not be disappointed, especially if you like the first three. This is a good return to the world of Scream. Unfortunately, it's the last time that we have Wes Craven behind the chair directing it. Not too long after Scream 4 was made, Wes Craven did die from cancer. One of the biggest legends of horror, who is now no longer with us. So, may he rest in peace. Well, Scream 4. Haven't seen it? Check it out, and I'll see you on the next review.